bid you all a very warm welcome this morning to Schomberg House for our annual service of Remembrance. It's always an honour and privilege for me in my role as Grand Master on Armistice Day to represent the Orange Institution as we gather to remember all those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. We especially remember the fallen of 2 world wars and more recent conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, who have died many thousands of miles away from home. Among them, many Ulster men and women who gave their lives not only to protect this country, but also the interests of democracy across the world. We think particularly of those who wore the uniform of our armed forces, the police and other law enforcement agencies. These brave personnel ensured anarchy did not prevail on our streets by courageously resisting the threat posed by terrorists, many paying with their lives for the greater good. We pay tribute to 337 members of our loyal institution who were callously murdered throughout the Troubles. The crime of the vast majority of our brethren in the eyes of Republicans was to don the uniform of our country in response to a violent terrorist campaign. Others were simply targeted for being in possession of an orange collarette. Today, we particularly think of the relatives of Brother Winston McCaughey, a UDR Lance Corporal and Orangeman from Kilrea, who was brutally murdered on this day 37 years ago. We remember all the families who have lost loved ones and let them know that they have our full and unequivocal support. The torment and suffering of the innocent victims has been cruelly exacerbated in recent weeks and months by the sickening and increasing strident glorification of a bloody terrorist campaign by Republicans. Even the most impartial observer could only look on with horror at the galling spectacle of apologists for murder openly celebrating the abhorrent activities of IRA terrorists through the streets of Castleberry this summer. This was aggravated last month by the nuclear appearance of an IRA bomber unveiling a plaque in memory of his partner in crime, only days ahead of the 20th anniversary of the Shankill bomb atrocity. Such nauseating glorification of terror is not only immoral, it is an insult to the memory of those murdered and their families. Let me state categorically that there can be no moral equivalence whatsoever between the victim makers and the thousands of security personnel, civilians and their relatives whose lives they set out to destroy. Those who deliberately chose to pull the trigger or detonate the bomb without thought for the consequence of their depraved actions will forever be terrorists in the factual narrative of the Troubles. The past simply cannot be rewritten, nor can it be twisted at will to suit the false anecdotes of the Republican propaganda machine. The truth, and nothing but the truth, must always prevail for the sake of those who suffer the most. On Saturday, I had the humbling experience of attending the Remembrance service at the National Cenotaph in Whitehall, London, in tribute to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in their service to the British Crown. Next year, we will come together as a nation to commemorate the centenary of the outbreak of the First World War. In this decade of anniversaries, we will also remember the fallen soldiers of the 36th Ulster Division and their gallantry on the front line at the Battle of the Somme. We have a proud military heritage in Northern Ireland and an undisputed track record in terms of active service. Many of our own members have served and continue to serve with the armed forces, and as an institution we look forward to playing a full role in the nation's commemorations. As we congregate here today in this memorial garden, we pay our respects to all those who have lost their lives when answering the call of duty, not just Orange men and women, but all Protestants, Roman Catholics, those of any faith and those of no faith at all. We salute every one of them for their courage, professionalism and selfless sacrifice. We will always remember them.